Miriam Grossman is a medical doctor and a board-certified child and adolescent psychiatrist. In her intervention to the Congress, she revealed a reality that might be shocking for many people, and I quote, "The sex of the child is determined at the moment of the conception, and it is ratified at the moment when the child is born." End of the quote. She could not speak more bold, clear, and the truth in her intervention to the Congress. Peter seems to have one of these moments of lucidness and clarity in today's gospel, faced with the firm and direct question that Jesus asked, "And who do you say that I am?" The enigmatic figure of Peter answered with the true and the only God has. "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." Peter, in his response, which does not come from him because it was revealed to him by the Father, affirms two truths and one reality. The first one, that Jesus Christ, who is God, he is human, just like them, who suffers, rejoices, when just like them, and it is like each one of us, but that also reveals that he is the Son of God. He is the God of the second person of the Trinity, a divine person, the divine nature. He is the living God. He is not a God of death. And this is possible that Peter didn't understand the implication of his answer, because just as Jesus says, it was revealed to him by God the Father. We must ask ourselves, how does God the Father reveal his Son to us? And then the question of Jesus is valid today. And I believe that he might asking us, what am I for you? And the problem that we have now is that the world has become more secular and less religious. People are losing faith more and more every day. Few attend masses, and many of those who attend do not believe in the real presence of Jesus Christ in the Eucharist. And that is sad, because this is not strange to think that only 31% of those that say that are Catholics believe in the real and living presence of Jesus Christ. And even more, they believe that it's only a symbol of the Lord's Last Supper. When we think that Jesus is only a human being like us, that he was a person who lived 2,000 years ago, and some take the simple fact that the miracles that he performed were just acts of magic. And it's not difficult to think that people is losing faith, because God does not do the miracles that they ask for. When we say that the teaching of Jesus Christ are already out of the date, and they need to be adapted to the new reality of the changing world that we are living, that many theologians have called the theology of the popular religiosity. That is not to say that they are disclosing that we, the people, we are the third source of revelation. That our belief that we need to update the gospel as the new reality that we are living. That we must think, in this case, when we think that we are the new source of revelation, we have the right. We have the right for abortion. We have the right to promote euthanasia. That must be practiced because older people that have been lived long time, they are taking away the resources of young people, and therefore being all constitute an obstacles to people live. That is what happens when we think that we are the source of revelation. Even some go much further when they realize that they have called the gender ideology, that we have the right to change our sex as we are changing our cloth. That is no longer convenient for us to be what we are, that being that God gave us when we were born. That is the way when we forget Jesus and his gospel. And that is happening when we forget about Jesus Christ, that God of the second person of the Trinity, but the human being who, like us, thinks, lives, and cries and rejoices when he sees one of his son and brother suffer. That he is the God who leads us to the path of the truth. That is this is the only who reveals when we encounter him in prayer. He is the living God, not the God of the dead, who invites us to seek the way of holiness, not only by reading, meditating, and reflecting his gospel, which never goes out of style or outdated, but which invite us to put into the practice, into his discipleship that Jesus Christ wants us to have, which one to be committed with him and his gospel. The secular world that live far from God and that reject the teaching of Jesus are those who have these existential conflicts, that doubt their human reality. So it's not strange that when families, couples, and people who have these conflicts seek advice from psychologists, psychiatrists, and doctors, but in the search of the miracle cure, but they never seek God's advice. They never go for the truth that is the God's gospel, simple because they has little faith or has lost it. And this is what's happening precisely when all the problems begins. When Giuseppe Melchiori Sarto was elected Pope the Pius X, he adopted as his motto for his pontificate, instaurare cognia in Cristo. That means restore all things in Jesus Christ, a slogan for which he worked intensely with the simplicity of the spirit, poverty, and strength. So we must take an effort to return to Christ again in his gospel, that he never is gospel antiquated. Seek him, love him, and have permanent communication with him in prayer and meditation of his gospel, and placing our whole being in his hands. We will surely live this life with confidence and the assurance that in his grace and mercy, he will never abandon us, and making his gospel alive again and always present in our life. We have a beautiful opportunity to be in front of Him in the Eucharist. He is asking us, who am I for you? Let us pause after receiving Him in the Eucharist, so that possibility that the God the Father, who has did it with Peter, reveal who Jesus Christ is to us.